When should you release your book? Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly Stevens, and this is Carly Stevens Books for all things writing, publishing, and indie author life. So today I'm going to look at the question of when you should release your book. Now, just right off the bat, there are very few actual shoulds in indie publishing especially, but here are some things that you might want to take into consideration as you are determining what is going to be the release date of your story. So the first thing you need to consider, of course, is whether the book is finished. And so that includes not only drafting, but editing. Does it have a good cover? All of that. And when I was releasing my first book, Furion Rising, I basically worked backward from how long I thought it would take to edit, to get a professional editor to work through the book, to get the cover, to get beta readers. So I actually have an entire step-by-step self-publishing guide on my website, carly-stevens.com, so you can kind of see which thing needs to come first to have kind of a domino effect for the rest. So for example, you need to have an exact page count. So the editing needs to be essentially done to give to your cover designer for the spine width. So you have to get everything perfectly edited. You need to get it formatted and know the page count to then get the official cover for any print editions, etc. So I'm bringing all this up because you can only release a finished product. So the very simplest way to figure out when you're going to release a book is whether it's done. Is it done? Is it good? Does it have a good cover? If so, check, check, check. The second thing to consider is your goal. So are you the kind of person who plans to write one book? This is it. Or maybe you write kind of slowly, you write maybe a book every 2 years or something like that. If that's the case, then you might want to really leverage a big launch, or as big as you can figure out how to do, right? Try to get a lot of pre-orders and that sort of thing. If you're somebody who writes a lot faster, maybe you release a book every 3 months or something, then that is going to be a lot less important. So the 3-month writer person can just release those books, build up their general audience as they do it. But if you're that more meticulous style of writer, there's nothing that's better or worse about either way. I have kind of fallen into both categories at different points in my short author career, so I know that there are pros and cons to both approaches. If you are one of those a book every 2 years or this is it kind of people, then you might want to put your release date farther out so that you can do that work of marketing, of advertising, of talking about, of really hyping up your release before it comes out. So that's going to be a little farther away, but it all depends on the style of your and speed of your writing and really what your goals are for that launch. Does it matter to you that you get a lot of pre-orders? Does it not? Something else to consider is competition. Obviously, we are in competition with traditional publishing houses. I hesitate to put it that way just because I like to think of writers and readers as being in this beautiful symbiotic relationship. So the more readers we all have collectively, the more successful we all have the potential to be. So, let's support each other. Let's, continue to read both indie and trad books. I'm all for it. However, there are some realities for independently published writers that make it a little harder to get seen when a big traditional publishing house that has more advertising muscle is releasing a book on the same day. So sometimes you might want to avoid, in order to offset that competition with traditional publishing houses, are Tuesdays. Tuesdays are book release days for, Penguin Random House, etc. So if you avoid Tuesdays, then you'll not overlap with those. However, if you're a big enough name or you're confident enough, and you want to be put together on that same release day, on those same lists, then feel free. But I would just personally advise not doing that and then standing out on a different day. Another time that I would avoid is the holidays, specifically December. There are some heavy hitters that come out in December. Again, you can do what you like. You can release on a Tuesday, you can release during the Christmas season. That is all fine. However, the competition is going to be ratcheted up. Just be aware of that as you are planning your release time. The next consideration is genre. Some genres are great for any season of the year. I'm talking fantasy, sci-fi, a lot of contemporaries. Awesome. Doesn't matter really which season you release those books. However, there are other genres that really work well in particular seasons. So, for example, I have this. It's just a short story. Basically, it's a little mini book, super cute. To Have Had So Much Blood, which is a Macbeth-inspired haunted Scottish manor historical gothic horror book. So this obviously is better. More people are bound to read gothic horror in the fall around Halloween time. So this is coming out right before that kind of spooky season starts. As I am filming this, this little book is coming out in just a couple of days, but by the time the video comes out, it'll be available on Amazon. You can also read it for free on Amazon. So anyway, there's a plug for that. On the other hand, so that's my dark persona. On the other hand, I also have short and sweet Christmas romances under a pen name, Anne Harrison. And these are little short Hallmark style romances that are just sweet and frothy and quick to read as well. This obviously is more of a holiday read, so putting this out closer to the Christmas season, you know, when people start ramping up their Christmas shopping, thinking about all of that, maybe November 1st, you know, and onward. Or July, Christmas in July. Some people do that. So that's kind of those are two times when this sort of book makes more sense. Something to consider though when you're releasing a more seasonal story, you know, if you have, I saw a book the other day called The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. If that came out in the spring, it would feel a little off. Something to consider is that you don't want it coming out too close to the end of the season that it is kind of representing. So like my short and sweet Christmas romances, it would not make sense to release this 2 days before Christmas, because then there would only be 2 days when people are really leaning into this style of book. Instead, I want to look before that holiday when people are starting to get really excited about this style of book or this style of book. And so personally, I would put out a book like this beginning of November, mid-November, something like that. And I would put out this in mid-August / September, which is when I'm releasing this book, just so people have some time to really find it, enjoy it during the season that it is part of. Okay, just some general thoughts. Again, you can release a book whenever you want. I have finished works and then just immediately put them up, and there you go, everyone. you can go for it. Something that I like to do is release books either at the very end of one month or the very beginning of the next month, because that's when a lot of people's paychecks come in. So if you release a book on, say, the 1st of the month, then most people are going to have this infusion of cash, and the bookish among us are looking at what books they can experience with that influx of cash. If you release a book toward the end of the month, there's not necessarily a huge difference in the money that you can make, but people start to tighten up a little bit around that time very often, just because, you know, their next paycheck is coming in a week or what have you. So yeah, those are some considerations to think about while you're deciding what is that date that you're going to release your book. So if you're releasing a book within the next 6 months or so, let me know what that is. What is the name of the book? What is the genre? And have you decided on a release date yet? Yeah, definitely put those down in the comments below. If you would like a more detailed walkthrough of self-publishing step by step, along with a choose your own adventure sort of set of options, then go to my website, carly-stevens.com, and I have that available for you if you're interested. All right, thank you. I'll see you next time for more writing, publishing, and indie author life. All right.